Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Frugal Latina. We're going to talk annual review. This is specifically for my analog girlies. We are going to get into the weeds about how 2025 went, what our plans are for 2026, and how we did and how I came across it. So stick around. All right, again, hello. I'm Frugal Latina, aka Becca. I have been in tech for 10 years. I am much more of an analog girly than I am like a digital girly. So I say that because I know for a lot of people it's far easier to move things around digitally or automatically. But for the sake of like cash stuffing, I'm going to be showing you the worksheets that I use. Spoiler alert, a majority of them are like from the budget mom. Out of sheer paranoia, this is my mea culpa for the fact that my savings challenge is going to be so choppy because I ran out of storage. It's a mess. It's a hot mess. I recorded probably 50% of what I went to. Okay. Anywho, back to the annual review. A brief overview is one of the goals that I had was to get my credit score back up. And I did that. I was up to 660 ending the month. My goal was 700. So did we meet that goal? No, but I went up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And at some point I decided to just focus on getting back on track with my snowball tracker. So that said, here is a very brief overview of my annual financial checklist. There is a template of this on Pinterest, which has really generalized, non-specific, like here's what you might need if you're getting your finances together. And I felt really disconnected from it. So, and if you haven't gotten your like coffee or hot chocolate or hot beverage with you, this is one of those videos you do that. Okay, this is gonna be a yappy one. I'm gonna try to slow down and make as much sense as I possibly can. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a digital artist, so I know how to kind of go into Photoshop and tool around, and I decided to make my annual checklist that makes sense for me. So I wanted to get on top of like Christmas and birthday savings at the top of the year, so that way I wasn't scrambling. What ends up happening about halfway through is that I do prioritize other things. So Christmas, I was able to get it kind of like solidified by late November. It worked for me. I still did go over by like $177, but it was worth it because it was something that I knew that my aunt really wanted, my grandmother liked. So one thing that I did not do this year was there was a trip that just didn't happen. And I'm grateful it didn't happen because the timing would have been so funky. And after July was when I put my down payment, and that was when I went full hog. This, I wouldn't advise doing what I did, but in order to solidify my tiny house and my tiny house plans, I had to hustle. And I was able to get in not only my down payment, but my origination fee, which is not talked about enough. Like your down payment isn't all that you're paying for. If you're buying a traditional house, you're probably going to be paying closing fees. Tiny houses, depending on how you finance it, don't really have closing fees, but you do have some type of fee you pay. If you're having like a financial, a financial business that is like that is financing your tiny house. I did what I needed to do to get it done. So I will go over just how much I saved here in just a moment, but I was super proud where I was mid-year review. I did get an iPad. I did get a Tiffany necklace. I did get my tiny house, and I did make a considerable dent into debt. That said, I did go back into debt when I came back from vacation. Vacation was not debt-free, and it's because I didn't prioritize immediately paying off that. So in terms of like how did December go, I was able to get like altogether over $3,000 in yearly savings challenge. This does not include the tiny house. So throughout the entire year, I saved $3,000. I know that's a little bit on the low end, but again, I have student loans I'm paying for. I paid down, I think Capital One once in January, February. And then I was able to raise up my emergency fund, not once, not twice, but 3 times. So after this check on the January the 2nd, my emergency fund will be back up to 1K. I'm always hesitant to say that because if you're like me, sometimes you say it out loud and then life happens, but that's what it's there for. And I'll talk about that here in a second. Christmas, I was able indeed to get $500 saved. Christmas was a hoot because a majority of my presents, like 80 to 90% of my presents did come from small Christmas markets. I think there was a tiny portion that came out of Nordstrom, but I really did try to keep my business off of Amazon. That said, unfortunately, of my tiny house accoutrements, accessories have to come from Amazon. They just do. And it's better to because they provide you like a list of all the things you need to add to your wish list. That's precisely what I did. And by the grace of goodness, my friends basically managed to wipe it out, save for 3 items. I've talked about this, but like I am just overwhelmed with gratitude at at my friends coming through for me. There was a little bit of impulse spending. I'm not going to lie. The money that I had saved for Adobe, I think about 40 of it went to something else. It did go to an item at Home Goods. It was something I had seen on TikTok. Yep, I'm influenced too. It's a little beverage thing for the fridge. So they were home things, but it tells me that I want more things for the house. I just cannot get a ton of things right now simply because I'm moving. This item made sense. I'm not going to have to get rid of it when I move, but it's just something to think about that like even someone like me, I'm far from perfect, does get suckered, I think, to impulse spending. You guys can't see it right now, but the birds are like just fluttering around the trees. So anyhow, I'm incredibly grateful for what it looked like this month. I even got several 1 month ahead challenges finished, like Adobe, like Apple. And as someone who really struggles with 1 month ahead, that was such a good feeling. So, okay, that said, I think I don't have it mentioned over here because I will show you where my debt is. I do plan on having a non-emergency buffer. I need it. I think I need it. I know I need it. There's always just something that is not a medical emergency that inevitably comes up. I need more buffers. I need to give myself more grace. Okay, so that said, let's talk about what debt am I carrying over and how I'm going to manage it. And this is for anyone else who has, you know, it's obviously a lot less. I'm very proud of that. I paid off over $1,800 worth of debt. And a lot of it was student loans. I got back on track. I did get an automatic thing, and I actually switched it. It was initially an ACH transfer. Now it's just a stupid debit card transfer, because as you know, sometimes when you put through a transaction, if it's through like your bank account and then routing number, it takes a couple days to come out. Yep, I was getting behind, so I got back on track. It's just coming out same day as, you know, the initial due date. So student loans, I am going to be down to $8,483.63. I plan on getting at least half of that paid off by June. That's my goal, is 50% of my student loans. Gonzo. Capital One, I really do plan on finishing within four checks. There are some things that I have to siphon away, specifically for tiny house moving. I don't remember how much moving costs, so I'm going to put away $500 for that to cover a U-Haul. I'm the kind of gal that's like one and done. And the reason I can do one and done is I know how to prioritize like moving things where. And my aunt has volunteered to help me pay for storage. She does not have to do that. I did not ask her to do that, but I begged everyone that like this year, please do not get me Christmas presents. I am downsizing. I don't need any more stuff. All I need right now is to be able like support basically for my moving, and everyone came through like ballers. CVS, I do have one lingering health thing I need to pay off. Why haven't I just paid this off? I don't know. I keep forgetting about it. So that needs to go immediately. And then I have one more, I think this is because of my nutritionist, a bill for my nutritionist. It's $319. So altogether, 8, 9, 10, a little under 10,300, which is like, considering I started off last year with a little over $12,000, that's pretty damn cool. I would love to be student loan and consumer debt free by 2027. That is the ultimate goal. So how do I plan on doing that? Okay, so we're gonna take a pause and think about. There's also like, for me, robins are they're my bird for change, like metamorphosis, and I keep seeing robins in the trees outside. So that's kind of cool. Okay, annual checklist. I admittedly put this together when I was like a couple of glasses of champagne in yesterday, but what I really wanted for New Year's Eve was to reflect. Just think about the year, think about what has been successful for me and what keeps kind of coming back on my to-do list. A lot about the beginning of 2026, I think, is going to be wrapping up. You probably have seen some challenges or are going to see challenges that I started, but I want to finish it. My goal for 2026 is to finish what I started. I think that's ultimately it. My word for 2026 is opulent. Because it's not just enough to be rich, right? It needs to be sustainable. Your wealth needs to carry on, and in so many different ways, because there's health wealth, there is mental health, but mentally being sound enough to do this, because so much of finance, financial planning, really is like a mental it's a mental marathon. Almost, it's like a juggernaut, is you really have to pace yourself with it, because just like anything, you plateau. I get bored of stuff constantly. I mean, that's why I spend. So at least having some kind of buffer money to plan for that makes it feel indulgent without being too irresponsible. So January, I plan on just hammering away at it. I'm coming strong. Snowball. Debt repayment, I want to have a $500 non-emergency buffer, primarily probably for moving, just being gentle with myself, because moving can be overwhelming. I've lived here for 7 years. I have a lot of stuff, and I want to let go and accept that. Sometimes with a transition in your life, there is a little bit of grief, right? There's a little bit of oh my God, I didn't plan for that, blah. February is having 1K and a buffer for tiny house emergency, Diana emergency, and family emergency, because given that I'll have an emergency fund already good to go, I want to start in the other one. Oh yeah, create my will. I know that's a little heavy, a little dark, but if I'm going to be owning property, then I want to be able to plan for that. I have unfortunately had some people that I love dearly who are quite young who passed. And when they pass, it makes it extremely difficult how to handle their stuff without a proper will. I'm 38, so while I'm young enough, you never know. March, increase my income, revamp and reevaluate income streams. I have a Ko-fi and I just never talk about it. I'm so sorry. Like I said, I'm a digital artist. I can do those challenges and do them by hand and not rely on AI or ChatGPT to do it. And I want to lean into that a little bit more. So if you don't know, I do have a Ko-fi. It's linked in my description. And I also I'm a digital artist, Mouse Cat Studios on Instagram. So consider picking up a piece of art on Redbubble. April. debt elimination check-in, and I do want to start seriously saving up for that Mazda car. I want to make an incredible dent and have that Capital One paid off before I really start any other long-term challenges, because one of the things that I did not master was doing several long-term challenges at once. I plateaued so hard that I didn't want to do it anymore. So that's it. May, I want to use my tax refund just to go to student loans, start my vacation fund. I don't know. I don't know with like tiny house getting situated and all that, if I will be apt to go abroad, but I really do kind of want to go to Silverwood theme park. So I'll see if I can make that happen. June, for my birthday, I want a Burberry wallet or Louis Vuitton bag. We'll see. It's doable. It's not a high priority, but it's a want, and I'm allowed to post my wants. 12 is a mid-year review, and I want to be at 50% with student loans. I want at least $4K paid off. That's the goal. July, mid-year quit list. I want to reevaluate my subscription models. What am I paying for? I don't need to. And then choose one savings to hit 1K. So it could be, if I haven't hit it yet here, it could be my Mazda, it could be the Ford Bronco that I eventually want, etc. August, decide on a place to vacation. I do want to go to Cardiff, I want to go to Italy, and I want to go to Silverwood theme park. I went on vacation 3 times last year. Crazy. And so cool. Xmas savings, I want to save $700 this year, simply because I want a good amount of buffer money, not just for gifts, but also for, I know that I'll need to get gift wrapping paper again next year. I want to get good wrapping paper. And also for, sometimes my friends and I will do like a Friendsmas in a cabin somewhere. That was really lovely when we did. September, autumn event planning, vacation funded and booked. I love vacationing in the fall. It's the perfect time to go. October, I want to increase my credit score by 25 points and begin my 3 to 6 month savings. This is only after, my long-term goal is to save $10,000. I will not do this until my student loans are paid off. This sounds so exciting to me, because $10,000 for me is one step closer to like genuine freedom, but I cannot do that with a student loan. I just can't. It is too overwhelming. I need to get that $289 off of my plate per month so I can focus on other things. November, student loans aggressively pay down. Consumer and student loans debt-free, like by November. I know that's a big leap, but if I can save $12,000 for my tiny house down payment, I can do any of this. I could do any of this 10 times over. And I have to remember that my hustle is still there. It's just going to be, it's going to just be a little tough, but I can plan for it. And then save 1K in land and update all savings goals. So that is the long term. And I'm sure you're wondering, how the hell am I going to do that? I'm going to make it fun. So I drew out my own savings challenge. Yep, it's wonky, but it works for me. I plan on wiping out Capital One. And then this is also my little savings challenge just for myself. Obviously not selling it because it's just hand drawn. But this is how I want to tackle my student loans. It's just whittling away at it, just a piece at a time. Because I want it gone. I want it off my plate. I don't want to look at it anymore. I don't want debt calls. I don't want to deal with it. Okay. So overall, we've talked about all of that. Let's talk about averages. This is for my math girlies. I'm not one. You can see all my chicken scratches. And I wanted to just be transparent, How did this year go? Okay. So overall, I saved $3,000 for savings challenges and a little over $12,000 for my tiny house. That is going to be like basically overall $15,000 altogether. Crazy. So that's it. Groceries, I spent $4,000 over the course of an entire year. That's an average of $340 a month. Some months were heavier, some weren't. I'm not comfortable yet with saving $170 per check for groceries. because typically at Walmart, I will also get stuff for the house. And I won't always have that cash on me. I refill it later. I'm comfortable where I'm at with $200 for groceries because it gives me a little buffer money in case I need the $20 for like the non-check week. You know. That is my own struggle. Gas. I spent $748, $62 per month on average, which is cheaper than I thought. Again, it varies month to month. Like this month alone was $93, but on average it was about $60 a month. So that's something to consider, that maybe I can put away 30 instead of 40. Vacation, I spent a total of $5,501. It is an average of $1,833.89. I could already tell that my vacations were going from $1,500 to like $2,000, and that's what I buffered for All Too Well vacation. So that's good to know for the future that like $2,000 is like a safe bet in terms of vacationing and like where I want to do and where I want to go and what I want to do. Except for Silverwood. Silverwood would probably be a little bit cheaper because it's near Idaho, so it's not very far. Yes, okay. Beauty. I'm proud of myself because beauty budget did go up. So it was about $535 altogether. So this is the sum and then this is the average, which averages about $44 per month. I did get some really nice products. I'm planning on getting the Secret shampoo and conditioner once my current shampoo and conditioner from Costco is up. I don't love the shampoo I have now. It's kind of, I feel like a lot of my hair falls out with it, and I'm not bald, but I'd rather not be. Gifts was $144 altogether. That's about $12 a month. This is for typically birthdays or surprise like little gifts. Clothing, $295 altogether, $24. This I think made me a little sad. I would love to see clothing go up because right now I don't have leggings and I don't have workout yoga pants. And while I have the money for it, I do want to save because one of the things that I want to do is go on a $500 clothing shopping spree at the outlets because I feel like I'll get the most bang for my buck, and I would rather wait because I've decided, especially for my body type, I'm going to get clothing. It's going to be nice or decent. And if I'm going to get like stuff from Walmart, it's going to be like muumuus, pajamas, like whatever. It doesn't always have to be designer or like the best, but I still kind of want nice clothing. And I think that's okay, especially as someone who works from home. My thing that I've been saying to myself is that I make too much money for blank. I make too much money to have holes in my leggings, right? Like, anyhow. Events, $496.15. That averages about $40 a month. There are 2 events that are coming up, one of which is a rock concert. And then the second is a homesteading convention, which sounds super exciting and right up my alley. Diana was $897.55. That averages to about $74 a month. I think we're on track with this one. However, I feel like when she does run out of stuff, it keeps catching me a little bit off guard or in between paychecks. So I'm going to have to suss that out a little bit. Or what I've been thinking about doing is the first check of the month that is non-rent is basically like the preparing month. Like this is, like I prepare at the top of the month. So I just have the money by the time she needs it and I don't have to stuff it every week. Thinking. The vet total for the whole year was $273. So $300 is like a safe bet. I'm rebuilding that vet emergency fund because right now it's sitting at like $20. So, okay. So the goals that I have for 2026 are essentially this. The word is opulent. The goal is to hammer away at those big loans, big Capital One loans. The second is to basically rebuild. And then the third is when I start looking for land. I'd love to be a landowner by next year, but I'm going to do baby steps and if I finish early, then I move on to the next thing. Okay, so that's the plan. I'm still waiting on my financial planner. like this for the next year. It's coming on coming on Monday, but I hope that you all had a wonderful, wonderful New Year's. I hope you're gentle with yourself. I hope you can like look at the way I'm doing it and apply it to yourself, or be like, girl, you don't need to do all that. I know, but this is for my type A girlies, my type AB girlies, even my type B girlies. The thing about it is when you replace a habit, it has to feel better than the previous habit you had. So that's all from me. I'm gonna get this video out, and I wish you the most prosperous, gentle 2026. Adios.